Afternoon all, how are you all doing? Afternoon Diamond, afternoon Evil. It's snowing in France? Really? Blimey. It's certainly cold here. It's minus, I don't know, it's 5 degrees at the moment. It has been -3. But yeah, still cold, still very cold. Right. So we just had the PPI figures, negatives, and retail negative for US as well. So retail isn't quite as important as other indicators because it is an after effect of monetary policy. Basically, retail sales are a gauge of how the economy is going. It doesn't really make a difference to monetary policy because monetary policy is all about keeping inflation under wraps. And obviously, retail sales are affected by inflation. So it's a little bit of a not necessarily massively impactive on the US dollar. The PPI figures, though, the producer price index is a little bit more impactive, and that was a miss. The core was a hit, everything else was a miss. But yeah, so overall bad news for the US. So not great for the US dollar. Nothing else this morning of any particular interest. Markets don't seem to be particularly either way. I mean, it is negative US, unless it's just started going. Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, it's not massive US dollar CAD. This euro is killing me. I've got a feeling I'm going to blow this account. You know, I've only got 3 trades on. Look, this euro is utterly broken. I don't know what's going on with the euro. So yeah, US dollar, yen. I got out of my yens a little early. I got out of the Aussie yen. Where did I get out of the Aussie yen? Can't see it. Got out of the Aussie yen there. It's still going. So it's done a complete U-turn, return to origin, M pattern, reversal alert, short. So Aussie yen worked out very nicely for me this morning. CAD yen, no, Swiss yen. I was also on, but got stopped out of break even on that one. I've had to scale out of a few bits and pieces this morning as well. So I've taken a little bit off of pound US. Let's go to the hourlies. So obviously I've got the EA set up to scale out. Afternoon, Brian. When I get an ADR in drawdown. So I'm doing drawdown control very quickly because I need to keep on top of the daily drawdown. But I mean, the fact this euro is probably going to kill me anyway. I don't know what's going on with the euro. It's utterly broke. But anyway, so yeah, pound US dollar, I've scaled out a bit of that. Euro pound had to scale out a little bit more of that because this thing is just utterly collapsing. What else did I scale out of? Euro Swiss, got out of a couple of Euro Swisses again. So I've had to scale out a little bit more Euro Swiss. That's about it. So just scaled out a little bit this morning. Not a problem really, unless it continues. The euro continues to crash. I only need an ADR move to the upside, and that lot suddenly becomes plus 2k. But at the moment, it's just not in a good place. I took a manual on this Euro Swiss because I didn't think the EA was going to get me into it, and then the EA got me in again. So I'm double exposed on it as well, which doesn't help. But anyway, but on the plus side, remember that what we spoke about this morning, sentiment, yeah? So I took a screenshot of this morning. These were the sentiment trades that I took this morning based on the intraday sentiment. And I was just taking the +2s and the -2s on sentiment. And my God, did they work. So basically, if you remember this morning, if you were in here, I hit the button basically to get myself into them, and I just was going to get out of them a bit later on. And all the ones I took were 0.2s. So all of these 0.2s in here, US dollar Swiss, short, collapse, because the entire world is long on US dollar Swiss, or rather they were this morning. It's changed, isn't it? Where's US dollar Swiss gone? We've obviously, sentiment has changed on that. I know, 93. 7. Why is that not showing up there? Oh, yes, it is. Blind eyes. So yeah, short US dollar Swiss. Bang. Because everybody in the world is the opposite way, aren't they? Yeah. So US dollar Swiss, they're all long, so the market's collapsing. So that worked beautifully. CAD Swiss, same thing. The entire world is long, so I went short. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Our entire world is short, I went long. New Zealand dollar CAD, entire world is short, I went long. Euro New Zealand, the entire world is long, I went short. Aussie dollar CAD, the entire world is short, I went long. How good's that? 100% strike rate. Screw the rest of my stuff. I'm just doing that every day. If I'd have actually taken a proper lot size with that, I think I probably would have passed an evaluation. But anyway, yeah. So intraday sentiment. So what I've done today is I've set up an automated system to record sentiment on a hour-by-hour basis. So I've got a new spreadsheet. Not that one, that's COT. This one. So basically what this is going to do is every hour, roughly on the hour-ish, it's going to log sentiment. This is long sentiment only. So it's going to log, and obviously I know what the short sentiment is, because if this is 27, the short sentiment is whatever's left out of 100, isn't it? So it's going to log this so I can plot the sentiment hour by hour, and I'll get a chart up on the website to plot it for each instrument. And I'm going to then cross-reference that with price, and we'll plot it, and we'll keep a track of how price is moving against these sentiments every day. And as I said this morning, the strategy literally is just before London, get in the opposite side to sentiment and get out before New York. I got out way too early on these, but only because I just wanted to get out with a profit on them, because I've taken some losses today. So I've recouped good 0.25%. Mucking about with those. So yeah, so that's now going to do that. My other project I said about this morning was historical COT data. So I've now got historical COT data. So far I've got 2022 to 2012. So again, I'm going to do the same process with this. I'm going to be plotting COT data, and obviously then can use that COT data to plot a chart, and then compare that chart to price to see how well COT data is corresponding. Because obviously COT data is quite a heavy bias on the system for picking longs and shorts. So I want to make sure that's fairly good within a month, really. And I might adjust the weightings on it depending on how effective that is. And the same with the retail, yeah? If I'm finding that retail has got a hell of a lot more to do with price movement than COT on a inter-week basis, I'll probably give this a bias of 4 and this a bias of 2. And then the fundamentals can make up the rest of the scorecard. But I need to gather all this data. And obviously this data, I can only gather it 24 times a day. So you're going to need to give it a time to build up a database. But this automatically populates every hour. It just fills this in automatically. I coded all of this, by the way, using OpenAI. It's just unbelievable what that thing can do, ChatGPT. I basically said what I wanted to do, and it coded it. It was like, fine, don't need me anymore. Who needs a coder when you got an AI that can code it for you? Literally, it took me everything I've done this morning, getting all the historical COT data together, putting it in spreadsheets, formatting it, getting it uploaded onto the website, all the scripts to update hourly, reformatting, all of this was done in 4 hours today, the whole lot. I've got a complete historical database of all COT data for a decade, and I'm now capturing sentimental data on an hourly basis. It took me 4 hours to put it together. About 2 years ago, if I wanted to do that, I'd be working on it for a week. AI thing is just unbelievable. Anyway, so I've got this drawdown at the moment. So looking at the moves we've had off of the US dollar, obviously we've had a bit of whipsawing. Let's look at the pound US dollar. It's the easiest thing. So that's the news there. Since the news has come out, we've moved up a little bit. We've moved a quarter of an ADR basically. So the long and the short of it is we've got a quarter of an ADR move off of that news. So it's not particularly impacted at the moment. We need to see what happens within the US session. That's gone a little bit more. That's gone almost half an ADR US dollar Swiss, but the Swiss is strong today, as we know. So it remains to be seen what the market's going to make of that, how much of that is factored in, and how much of that is surprise. This isn't a massive difference. It's a 0.3 on the retail sales. The core retail is a 0.6, which is a bit bigger, but again, nothing super dramatic. And the PPI is a bit of a miss, but nothing dramatic either. So I'm not sure the market's going to be particularly too worried about it, but we'll see. Afternoon, Luke. Okay, so me starting to study a programming language now is not a good idea. No, don't become a programmer. You're redundant. You're totally redundant. I'll demonstrate it to you, right? This is how clever this thing is, right? Code an EA to buy when RSI is below 20, and sell when above 80, with one lot and a stop of 20 pips, and take profit of 40 pips. I know this is very simple, right? But this thing will just basically do it. What is it? It's not working. Hello. Oh, it's probably busy. Sometimes it's really busy at the moment, this thing. It's not working. It's broke. That's weird. It's been working all morning. Let me refresh it. Try again. Oh, hang on. An MQL5. Better tell you what language to use, isn't I? Oh, is it broke? It's been having massive problems with load. ChatGPT now, if you try that, look. Get notified when we're back. I asked to get notified when we're back about 3 weeks ago. I still haven't had notification. But this is a playground, basically. The server is currently overloaded. There you go. I'll come back to that in a minute, but it's unbelievable. So don't know what to make of the US dollar at the moment. We'll see. NASDAQ, we'll watch the opening range break on that. I'm not going to trade that. I might trade that, actually. I don't know. We'll see. I don't really want to overexpose myself too much today. ChatGPT works better for this sort of product. Yeah, you can't use it anymore, though, ChatGPT, unfortunately. And it doesn't help that it was on the news this morning either in the UK about kids doing their homework on it. My kids do their homework on it, all their coding homework, history, whatever. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's like having Albert Einstein basically in your house. Assuming Albert Einstein could code and knew everything about everything in the world, but that's what that does. Yeah, but there's too many people using it now. This is trouble. It's this model is currently. Let's try a different model. I'm not sure if Curry will be able to do it. I'll try it. There you go. Oh no, that's a different model. That doesn't work. That model. I could try DaVinci 2. It might work. No, that one won't. Yeah, no. It needs to be that one. All right, stop. I know what you. Yeah, it's totally overloaded. This is the problem. Hits the news like anything. Too many people using it. It's too many people using it. Anyway, I'll come back to it. It might work later. You have to pay for it, basically. So we'll probably only be able to use it when Microsoft integrates it with Azure. Yeah. It's going to be chargeable. It's already chargeable. You can pay to use it. It's just all the freebies. But yeah, it's having problems at the moment. But yeah, so so yeah, I mean, this is an example of what. There we go, 10:45. What I asked you to, it might not work now actually, because this is just a Google Sheets thing that I wanted it to do. Oh, there you go. So I wanted it to do all of this, copy this, that. It's quite a really complex thing I was asking it to do, and it wrote me that function. I popped it in and it worked. Just, you know, nuts how good it is. But anyway, it's not working, so I won't keep labouring the point. You can't use it. It's broke. Right. So we got opening range going in. I'm trading the 15-minute opening range, although I might not trade the 15-minute opening range because current drawdown is a little bit high for this. So I'll see what happens. But ADRs, obviously, at the moment, take your pick. There's so much hit ADR today. Everything's starting to come off now. So Aussie CAD's coming off of 125. Aussie Swiss has already bounced off of 100, but not convincingly. All the yens basically have just come down. I wish I'd have taken more of these this morning, but obviously in hindsight it would have been lovely, but it's not. So, but yeah, I got on a couple of those this morning. Aussie New Zealand's not hit. CAD Swiss, we're down at 175 ADR. RSI extensions, I mean, look at the RSI dashboard as well. It's like a Christmas tree. So there's a lot of big, strong movements with a lot of propulsion gaps left in their wake. So there's a lot of retests going to be done at some point. It's just how far they're going to squeeze this at the moment. CAD Yen straight off of 225 ADR, all the way 100% retracement. Swiss Yen straight off of 200 ADR, back into the propulsion gap. So again, that's not done the return to origin yet because there's strength on the Swissy, but that shows you how strong that yen is. The Swiss franc's been massively strong today. That thing, wow. You just can't get in the way of the yen at the moment. Euros, so you've got Euro CAD. That's up at 125. Again, straight off of 150. Limit order trigger. Again, these limits, just, we're talking about limit order triggers and why things happen. That, again, limit order, proving my point again. Euro CAD, Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss is down at 125. So I've just taken more longs on this down here. You can see my average is here. So literally, I'm looking for like a couple of hours bullish movement. I just need a couple of hours of bull candles. Just at the moment, the euro's just not able to recover. I'm really hoping Lagarde, when she comes out tomorrow and talks about the euro tomorrow morning, I'm really hoping she's bullish on it. Because if she comes out and says 0.25, the market's already factored in this drop of 0.25. So I get the feeling we might just go into an accumulation drop if she comes out and says that. If she still maintains the 0.5, which I'm hoping she will, which is what was sort of, we had that this morning, didn't we? Who was it came out this morning and said about it? It wasn't Lagarde, it was, what's his name? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Oh, it's Ren talking again. But whoever it was came out this morning, said, Lagarde has said, we're not interested in 0.25s, we're interested in 0.5s and keep going for 6 months. So I get the feeling this is not the real move that we're seeing on these euro pairs. Euro pound, 100 ADR straight off the bottom. It's pulling back at the moment. So look at this on a lower time frame. You're looking at a W formation. So that's starting. You're not going to get a reversal on any of this on M15 because the drop's too fast and too hard. M5 you might. Yeah, you've had one in M5. So there's your W starting, but we've run into a double top. So when we break that high there, we've got a fairly easy run up. We need some buyers on side. Euro yen. What's the time? We've got 1 minute until the 15-minute range is in. DAX this morning, the opening range breakout to the high worked nicely. The low basically stopped out. I stopped out there, as you can see. I got a bit of a trailing stop on it. I didn't take the long because I had this set to 2,500, not to trade. So it didn't take the long position because I was in too much drawdown on other pairs. But that would have worked nicely. Obviously, as you can see, we're up there. So it would have been a nice long this morning. But it didn't happen until, well into the middle of the session at least. So euro yen, yeah, euro US dollar up at 100 ADR. See what we get with the US. We need some strength on that US dollar. All the pounds, pound CAD, 150, massive extension on the hourly. So we're up over pretty much the 90. A lot of these RSI extensions are very, very big. First time we've been here for many, many, many months. If you look at whenever we get close to this sort of level, yeah. So we're looking at a decent pullback, at least into that propulsion gap. So I would say probably half to a 3/4 an ADR drop at least when it starts to go. But it's struggling at the minute still. Pound CAD, pound Swiss, Swiss franc absolutely trounced this morning, but the pound's bounced back off. So the ADR hit to the downside, and you got 60 pips out of that. So pretty much 3/4 of an ADR move back up again. Pound yen, we know, obviously putting back. Pound US dollar, ADR hit to the upside. So scaled out a little bit of that and looking for that to drop. Again, massive extension on that one. Yeah, I mean, just these moves from these highs. I mean, that actually reversed, but I mean, the pullback on it was that much. You got a reversal out of it in the end as well. But again, there. So we're looking for a pullback into propulsion on that one. So again, that's a good looking short. I'm already short on that. New Zealand CAD. ADR hit 175, all gone absolutely mental today, up to 90 on that one as well, on the RSI, on the hourly. So again, that's starting to pull back now. You've just had your reversal alert on it. It's looking like it might try and retest, which is about 15 pips. So if it does come back up and retest the reversal alert, short out there. New Zealand dollar Swiss. That was a hit to the upside, wasn't it? Yeah. So that was a hit to the upside, all bounced straight back off. New Zealand yen collapse, back down again. New Zealand US. So, I mean, look at all of them, basically. You can see what's lit up. Everything's lit up. So shorts all out, shorts all round, longs all round, whatever you want to do with it, basically. It's there's loads of mean reversion opportunities out there at the moment. Gold as well. Gold's hit ADR. That's not unusual for gold, but it has hit ADR. And US dollar Swiss as well. ADR to the downside. Swissy is still very, very strong. And obviously all your RSIs as well. So loads of RSI hits across the board. You can see some of these in the 80s, 20s. We've got stuff that's going to alert at the 90s in the next 10 minutes. We're going to have some 90s flash up on the screen. So I'll look at those in a minute. We'll wait 10 minutes for the alerts to come in. Oh yeah, I'm taking longs and shorts. So yeah, see if we can get some moves off the NASDAQ. Nasty choppy open on the NAS. So there was your 5-minute opening range there. 15-minute opening range is drawn in there. Wick. So if this move that we've had a little bit of a movement on the US dollar, obviously everything moving up because US dollar's coming down. So if we are going to get some strength off the US dollar this afternoon, we should expect indices to come down. Let's have a quick look at the Dow. What's the Dow up to on the 5? Oh my God, what a mess. Choppy mess. We'll see how that develops. CAD seems incredibly weak. It's even beaten by the weak euro. Yeah, CAD will get dragged with the US dollar. What's happened to oil today? The oil's pushing. Well, it's not. Yeah, it's pushing. It's all right. Oil's okay. CAD's just not very happy at the minute. So sentiment-wise, all of these basically. So hit the short button on those, and hit the long button on those, and you won't go far wrong. Well, I got 100% strike rate with it this morning, anyway. I'm not going to take any more this afternoon. I've got enough exposure on as it is. So it's still sitting within the opening range on the NAS at the moment. No real movement anywhere. Nothing's moving. It's all whipping at the minute. So Euro CAD is range bound at the moment, but COT is long. So and sentiment is long. So I'd like, Euro CAD. I think you want to be positioning yourself long if you can. I'm not surprised by that move today. Everything is pointing towards it. COT's on your side. Sentiment is saying to go long on it as well. If you look at the intraday Euro CAD, 77% of the market is short on the Euro CAD, so you want to be long in it. And that's exactly what it's done. Nasdaq's having an attempt on the highs. Euro US dollar clean highs above 109,400. I mean, there's nothing to stop this at all now, really. I mean, it's just going to carry on going until it's finished. We're just waiting on the US. Again, it's just not as strong at the moment at all as it should be, really. The US, the market's not happy with it. And obviously, they didn't help with the euro. So we'll see. But I think Euro US dollar at the moment, it is stalling out up here. As you can see, we're not interested in going above this level at the moment. We've tried again and failed this morning. So what's worrying me is whether or not Lagarde is going to come out and talk this down tomorrow. But from a sentiment perspective on Euro US dollar, is still a sell, but you've got no market participation on your side at all, really. There's no COT positioning on it, and a little bit of long retail. So retail's more short than long, so we want to be going long on it. Fundamentals are mixed. They're both fairly strong, expected to be fairly strong, so not really getting any direction on it. What a whippy mess this is. That I need to start hedging it then. If you want to. I don't do hedging. I do scaling out and taking losses. Hedging just gets me into a mess whenever I try it. You know, all this drawdown that I've got at the moment, I could hedge this. But if I hedge it, and it all starts to go my way, all I'm going to do is not move anywhere. So it doesn't help me. You're better off just take the loss. Or take some loss, you know, like I'm doing, you know, get out of some of it. You know, don't forget, we were talking this morning about somebody sitting in 50-something% of drawdown, you know, and the reason that person's sitting in 50-something% of drawdown is because they're not taking any losses. You got to get out. Position trading is about scaling in and scaling out. If you scale in and the thing just continues to go against you and you hold it hoping, you're going to get blown up. You've got to get out your positions. You've got to scale out of stuff if it's going really, 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 really wrong. But nothing's going really wrong until it's sitting at sort of 3 to 5%. Then it's going wrong. At the moment, this isn't wrong. It's only 1.5% in drawdown. Look at the Euro Swiss. What do I need to get back from 1.5% in drawdown? I need literally a half ADR move to the upside. That can happen in 3 hourly candles, easy. I'm not wrong on the trade. I'm just waiting for the market to. I'm waiting for the Swiss franc to chill. Basically, Swiss franc's off its head at the minute. It's on a mission. So, but that's all I need is a couple of candles. Look at it in the grand scheme of things. Where I am at the moment, right? Look at that candle. That's not really fair because that's a news candle. But look at these 3 candles here. Look at these 5, 6 candles there. Look at these 3, 6, 7 candles, whatever it is. Look at these candles here. That's all I need. One, just a little one of them. Yeah. And all of a sudden, bang, I'm sitting in $2,000 of profit. I'm just waiting at the minute for my bus to turn around, my train to turn around and get off at the other station. But at the moment, sellers are fully in control based on some idiot saying that Lagarde is not going to increase the interest rates by 5, and the Swiss franc completely recovering from the Swiss National Bank losing money. So those two combined have caused that. So when they chill out and have now undone their move, and Lagarde comes out tomorrow and says, what are you talking about? We're going up by 0.5%. This thing's going to be back up here. I have to just sit through it because that's what position trading is. I'm taking a position, not a trade. Oh, come on, NASDAQ, do something. So all these ADRs, did anybody get any of those yens this morning? I posted them in the group, but they went a lot further than I was expecting, a lot faster. I was expecting a little bit of a rest in here. We didn't get it. We got a little bit of a rest, but my goodness, they came down, didn't they? So there was beautiful fade opportunity today. We're just about to get new alerts on the RSI dash in 2 minutes. So as soon as those alerts come in, I'll have a look through the dashboard. Just waiting to see if this NASDAQ can do something. It's attempting a long. So if we do manage to crack this, we're going to put an outside bar in. It's all just indecision at the minute. Nobody's got any inclination for longs or shorts. US dollar Swiss 15-minute divergence. Yeah. So bullish divergence at 150 ADR. But remember, like I said yesterday, when you get beyond 125 ADR, you usually do find there is divergence. We're off on the Nasdaq long. Nice pop out the highs there. Aussie New Zealand, another alert. So let's see if we can. Jesus, look at that slippage. Wow. That was a really fast move through there. So I got slipped on that. 7 pips. That's a big slippage, that. Really big. So yeah, good divergence there. You probably find on a lot of these extended ones. Trying to find something else that's really extended that hasn't actually bounced yet. There you go. Euro US dollar. Bearish divergence. M pattern. M5. Going to get a reversal alert in a minute on that. Again, divergence. So as soon as that reversal alert comes in, come back down into this propulsion. Just want to see what the Dow's doing. Right, so we got divergence on the Dow again. We had this yesterday. We're making new highs on the Nasdaq. The Dow is not. So if you want, what happened yesterday was the Dow was actually in control, wasn't it? The Dow was right and the Nasdaq was wrong. I'm going to have to go back and remind myself which was in control yesterday. Yeah, Dow. So basically from this was the open here. The Dow Jones basically pushed down at the open. The Nasdaq pushed up at the open. And then the Dow continued to push down to that low. And as soon as it got down to that low, the Nasdaq turned and collapsed. So we need to watch the Dow just for divergence because we got more negative selling coming in on the Dow, but the Nasdaq's trying to make new highs. So just going to be a little careful with these longs unless the Dow goes. If the Dow comes up and attempts new highs, the Nasdaq's going to fly. So we need to see some bullish movement on that. See if we can get that AI working. Nah, still busy, isn't it? No. It's broke. Far too popular. Everybody's getting it to do their work for them. This is the problem. Everyone's sitting in the office now with problems and just getting the AI to solve it and then going off and having a cup of coffee. It's brilliant. This is coming down quite hard, this Dow at the moment. We are holding on the NAS, but it's not convincing, is it? Really want to see this try and make a new high. So we're putting in an outside bar here on the Dow. So next candle needs to be bullish to give the Nasdaq any chance of cracking these highs and actually getting out today. But Not looking good at the moment. US dollar is rallying. Again, this is bearish indices. So yeah, US dollar's rallying at the moment. Pound US dollar's coming down. This is all bearish NASDAQ, bearish indices, US dollar strength, all coming down. Come on, Euro Swiss, wake up. And Euro pound. Got 1 minute left on this candle. So RSI extensions. So the real big ones we've got at the moment are, I mean, Euro Swiss from 4-hour chart. Euro Swiss 4-hour is absolutely shot, 25 down there. You know, we do get lower, but very rare, very rare. You know, when you get down to these sorts of levels, you know, nice big pop off of that and that. You know, pop, pop, pop. So we're on the cusp at the moment with the euros. That's really extended. Euro pound is in the same boat. I'm in. It's both pairs I'm in, obviously. Just waiting for that snap. 80s on pound CAD on the 4-hour. So that's very extended. Anything above 80, you know, when you go back historically, you know, anything above 80 is rare. When we get up to these 80s, you know you've got something fundamentally wrong with one of the currencies to be able to get to this level. So you've got to have something pushing very hard against something that's got zero strength to get to this sort of level. But there's always at least a small pullback. So there's a good opportunity there on pound CAD as well. On your hourlies, just quickly see what the Dow's doing. I just want to see this bullish just to help the NASDAQ along. There we go. I wanted to make sure this wasn't just going to go slam. If it does, I'm out of that. I want this to rally on these highs, and then we're off. So on the hourlies, Aussie dollar CAD now just above the 80 level. Again, should be looking for at least half an ADR, at least. Back down into that area, propulsion gap where we broke. We've got 23 on Aussie New Zealand. That's quite extended to the downside. Again, we've been looking for shorts on Aussie New Zealand for a while. And that's finally broke. I was in here, remember? So I played it short from there down to there. And then we broke out to the upside. So there was your entry. And that's worked out beautifully. So it's now extended to the downside. So you want to get out. If you're in Aussie New Zealand short, you want to be out of that now. Massive extension on the CAD Swiss. Again, weak, very, very weak CAD. That's an ADR hit, 175 ADR, hasn't stopped all day, and massively extended. So good looking buy opportunity there. We just had the reversal alert literally 15 minutes ago on that one. Really tight for a reversal alert, but you got tons and tons and tons of room to the upside on that. So that's a good looking buy. These are all obviously extended, but I'm just looking for the most extended. Pound CAD, again, all CAD. Yeah, just off the scale. Beautiful sell opportunity. And these two as well, Pound US and New Zealand CAD. Pound US has just started to reverse. Again, massive extension on the hourly. We'll get a pullback on that. So we're elastic band, very stretched. Just waiting for that snapback. I'm already short, obviously. I kind of want to get another short on this, but I don't want to over leverage myself, so I'm not going to. But looking for a retest of this propulsion move there. So there's your accumulation. There's the move up. There's your propulsion gap. That's where I would look to test. New Zealand dollar CAD. Again, big extension. Very difficult to pick a support on this one. I mean, the obvious support is where the breakout was, but the breakout was really choppy and like spluttering car, and then it's accelerated off. So difficult to know where that's going to come down to, if it is going to come down. New Zealand dollar is very strong at the moment, so difficult one to trade short, that one. But again, very extended. Not there's slightly better out there, but and US dollar Swiss is the biggest one at the moment. We're down below the 20 level, so that's, and obviously we just got, someone's just pointed out, we've got divergence on that on M5 and M15. Hourly divergence isn't there, but yeah, that's looking really good as well. Again, trading back up somewhere into the propulsion area. You've got a couple of areas of potential resistance in there. So this at this level here really is the main resistance on your way back. So, and that happens to be as well, which is very common, 50% retracement into the propulsion gap. So that along it and up to 91.82. So when you get the reversal alert on this, you're going to have roughly 50 pips and 60 rewards. They're not amazing. Can I add indices to the retail sentiment tables? Not. It kind of screws all my other data up because there is no sentiment on indices elsewhere. There is only retail sentiment. There's COT positioning, but there's no fundamentals on it. So pulling back at the moment. Ow. Putting the NAS down. DAX is still trying to push higher, but a load of resistance on the DAX as well. There's a lot of selling going on at the moment, but equally, the sellers are not actually managing to get any headway at the moment. So since the New York session opened, we've had multiple attempts to get higher on the DAX as well, not able to get up there. Sellers pushing them down all the time, but equally the sellers are not making any headway either. It's very difficult to tell which way we're going at the minute. I'll have a look at the sentiment on the indices. I'll see. I might be able to get that coming in as well. I'll have to try and grab that data. The problem is whether there's enough sources that give retail sentiment on the indices. I need multiple sources to gather and aggregate data. So if there's not many sources, I haven't looked at it, but I'll have a look. But the try that one more time. No, totally overloaded. Gold, silver, US So we've got the Dow as well. Just looking at IG, see what IG have got. Yes, I mean, this today, the Dow, I would say, is a massive long today. This is this is the key bit, and this is why I'm logging this sentiment data now to get this hard right edge here, which I can't draw on properly. But that hard right edge there, where you see this pointing down and this pointing up. Actually, no, no, this is a sell today, I would say, the Dow. Because basically what's happening, the hard right edge in the last 4 hours, sellers have started exiting their positions, buyers have started entering their positions. So the sentiment has shifted in the last 4 hours to more people longing and people getting out of shorts. So if that's the case, the index is more likely to come down. It's 41% long. It's not enough to tip it in either direction at the moment, really. But I'll see if I can get it. I'll see how many places have got it. You can certainly get some info from here. Trouble is, this isn't updated regularly, though. This is the problem. This is only updated every 4 hours, so I can't really use this. I don't use this data at all, really, because it's not consistent enough updated. No, it needs to update quicker than that. Look at how often it's changing. Yeah, I mean, there you go. So I've updated it. There's another update just gone in there. Look at the difference. It's gone from 18 to 22%. It's moved 4% this morning. That has moved nearly 10% in the morning. Big shift, that 31% long to 22% long. There's 10% more shorts coming on that. So, some 37 to 52. Look at that, euro yen. The reason for this massive shift in the last 6 hours is because everybody's been stopped out, haven't they? Yeah. What happened this morning? The yen went mental this morning. So what we've got is a load of people going, oh, we need to get long on it. There was only 37% of the market long this morning. Now we've got 52% long. What's happened today? It's collapsed. Why? Because everybody's been getting into long positions and they put the liquidity under there, so they come and grabbed it. So you need this updating more regularly, and this is why I'm logging this data. There's a 15% change in the Aussie yen, 6% in the CAD yen, 11% there. That's not changed. New Zealand CAD, that's still the long of the century, New Zealand CAD. I will see what I can do. I was going to screw up everything I've done this morning. All the scripts I've had written this morning by AI, I'm going to have to get rewritten if I need to include gold and not gold, indices. The other thing I'm not sure about indices and sentiment is, this is not manipulated the way that Forex is. Forex is manipulated to grab liquidity. The reason being is because of the OTC transactions that are carried out with interbank. So when the banks are transacting with each other, it's what's called over the counter. We don't see it. We see it here in the charts, but we don't see any paper trail of it on any exchange anywhere. With the indices, it's all done through the CME. So you've got every single trade that is taken on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is logged. Yeah, every transaction by every institution is logged, including you and me. If you dump a futures contract in the market, it's logged, which is where we get COT data. Yeah, the commitment of traders data on the futures market, on the futures contracts. So it's a lot less manipulated. This is stock purchases. This is not manipulation in the way that Forex is manipulated. Knew this was going to happen. A nightmare. I could just tell the way the Dow was trading, it was wanting to pop. So big US dollar push coming through at the moment. My pound US dollar will be coming down nicely though, which is good. So I think I'm going to get stopped out on that long. We'll see. The Dow might just find some buyers down here. Obviously, we're sitting right in this propulsion gap at the moment, so we might find that this support holds, which it's just tapped into there. So you can see it's literally just tapped straight into support. And the buyers have just triggered the limit orders there. So we need to see if there's enough buyers basically to hold this level or not. But that's a big old push, that. Pound odd looks like a buy. I would say it's a sell. What time frame are you looking at, and why are you thinking it's a buy? What's your reasoning behind that being a buy? Oh, 100k. Yes, please. 26 grand drawdown, 100k return. That's nice. Not a big deal for the indices. Love the FX info. For a change, I'm trading against retail now. Yeah. I'll see what I can do on that. I've been considering putting gold in here, and I've been considering putting indices in here. Yeah, you see, I mean, Dukascopy don't provide it either, unless they've got some weird convoluted way of putting it in a cross, but I can't see it. So they don't do sentiment on it either. The thing with sentiment is you're trading against retail sentiment on the basis that the market is manipulated to grab liquidity to move it, which is what happens in Forex. And this is the thing, it doesn't happen in the same way in indices because it's a centralized exchange and it's mainly futures contracts rather than CFDs. So I don't think anybody really concentrates on the sentiment from that respect. I'm just trying to think of other providers. I don't think that, yeah, actually I've got a sentiment, but it's all in platform, so you can't see it. I don't think. Oh, there you go. Look, it's coded that EA for me. It's not finished yet. Hang on, see if it can finish it. Yeah, so it started coding that EA. RSI buy sell expert EA. Copyright 2020 MQL5. Well, so far it's managed to put a stop loss and a take profit in. We'll see if we can get that coded a little bit further today. FXCM has sentiment. Yeah, FXCM does, doesn't it? FXCM sentiment. So they've got the Dow, the FTSE, S&P, the DAX, France 40. Don't appear to have the NASDAQ for some reason. So we've got, yeah, Dow, FTSE, S&P, and DAX there. Well, there you go. Carried on a little bit more. So on tick, if the RSI 14 is below 20. God, this is busy, isn't it? Wow. See if it can code the next bit. It's interesting watching it code. I like watching it code. Go on. Code a bit more. No, server is overloaded. Sorry about that. Yes. Okay, so the buyers have stepped in on the Dow in that propulsion gap. So we'll see if they can hold that level. Want that high broken, basically. I'm not holding up much hope for that. That was a really fast, aggressive sell there. There's a lot of money required to stand in front of that sort of volume coming through. We will see. So that's the low of the session. This is the propulsion move. So we had the new spike, then we had the propulsion move long, retested it, added, retested it, added, retested it, added. So the buyers are fully in control of the market at the moment on the NASDAQ. But whether or not they've got enough beans to get higher today, I don't know. It's not after a drop like that. I would imagine they're a bit stuck. But come on. I want to get this EA finished so I can get it listed on the market. Buy if RSI is under 20. Sell if RSI is over 80. Oh, how simple is that? It's basically my strategy in a nutshell. Nah, stuck. I can't believe how popular this has become, how quickly it's sort of blown up. It's all the YouTubers. There's people YouTubing about this thing all the time, building stuff, getting it to do all their spreadsheet work for them. Just there are so many YouTubers doing this. It's just nuts. You just need to know English to program now. Yeah, basically. I mean, I don't know how complex you can get with it. I sat here for about 2 hours a few weeks ago, and I got it to code me quite a complex sort of grid-based strategy, if you like, using RSI and using ATR, daily ATR, which is ADR, obviously. And then I basically copied the code after I'd told it to change bits and pieces and said, now add in this, do that, the other. It's quite a complicated little EA. And I put it into my MQL5, compiled it, put it on a chart, and it traded. And it's just like, was it really that easy? But if you can, what I find with this sometimes is you really have to be super, super specific about what you mean, because it can, and this is the thing with programming, there's multiple ways you can program. You give the same logic problem to 10 programmers, you'll get 10 different results because you can solve the same thing in multiple different ways. Some long-winded, some short-winded, some will have be more buggy, others won't. So you give it this and it will code away and you'll think, why did you do it that way? And then you ask it again, recode it, but do it this way, and it will go, all right, and it will do it that way. So there is a lot of open to interpretation in it, and you've got to be very careful what you ask in the way you ask it, because it is literal. It will do exactly as you tell it to do. So if you tell it to do something stupid, it will give you something stupid back. But it's interesting. Dow's holding at the lows. Naz is trying to push higher. Well, probably having a coding background is very helpful to request more complex codes. Yeah, obviously because I know logic and I know how to code. I know what variables are. I know what arrays are, all that sort of stuff. When you know that, then it's a lot easier to ask questions. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Whipping post. I asked ChatGPT to code something in MQL4 and it failed multiple times using multiple prompts and variations. It kept shoving too many inputs into built-in functions. I found it does give you lots of inputs. So it's a shame it's not working because when it does this, so at the moment it's not giving any inputs. It hasn't put any inputs in. So you can't change anything in this. If you put this into MQL5 now, there you go, it's coding away again now. If you put this into MQL5 now, it literally will just trade and you can't change anything. So I would then say to it, now add inputs for, okay, now add inputs for take profit and stop loss. So now we can, if we do that, we can then put it in and use those inputs for optimization. So it will recode it for me now. So it will just start the code again from scratch and recode it. So the more complex you are with your question, the faster you get it done, because every time it has to start again. No, see, this is a different model. The ChatGPT model, I think, is a lot better than this one. It's a lot cleverer. But it doesn't work at the moment. But anyway, we can get lost in that for years. Dow's pushing again. So Naz is going to get dragged. Just retesting those lows. So it looks like we're going short, which is a shame. Should have said parameter input. Yeah. It's never going to replace a coder, I don't think. And even if it can replace a coder is only as good as the person telling him what to code. So if you've got somebody that's trying to develop a strategy that's a non-starter, it doesn't matter how good the coder is, it's not going to work, is it? So we got some strength in the US dollar by the looks of things again. Still a weak euro at the minute. It's trying very hard, this dollar, to make some headway, but really not getting anywhere at the minute. Managed to get the reversal alert in, but US dollar strength, you say? Don't worry, it won't last. No. I hope it does. Carol, sorry, you said you were looking at H4 on pound odd. I don't see why that's a buy. Well, I mean, it's a buy in the fact that we are sitting at support. We've had a reversal alert and a retest, so we've got a reversal pattern starting. But we are in a range. So there's no directional bias. There's no extensions. There's nothing right now. So I've got a video on YouTube about logical places to take trades from. And the one thing you'd never do in a range is take a trade from the middle of the range, because you're literally giving yourself a 50-50 shot from there. If you take a trade from here, there's a much higher probability of a mean reversion. If you take a trade from here, there's a higher probability of a mean reversion. If you take a trade from here, it can go either way with exactly the same risk. But fundamentally, it is a sell based on the fundamentals. There's no cop positioning on pound odd. Sentiment is saying to go short because there are more people at the moment longing pound odd than there are shorting it. So if you look at pound odd, I must try and sort this so that I can find things easily and quickly. Pound odd, there you go. So 61% of the market is long at the moment, which means the liquidity is all sitting down here and here. If everybody's long, that's where the liquidity is. Everybody's feeling the pain on the US dollar at the minute. I'm feeling it on the pound US at the minute. It's just not getting anywhere, this US dollar. It's really, really stuffed. We've had, since we've come back, we've had virtual radio silence from all the central banks. The Fed hasn't come out and said anything much. Lagarde hasn't come out and said anything much. Bailey's not come out and said anything much. We've got them all in meetings this week. They're all at the WEF annual meetings this week, not saying anything. So it's really, really, really quiet. There's nothing to give the market any clues as to what to do next. We're just not getting any clues from anywhere. So we need some positive news on the US, and all the US seems to be doing at the moment is giving negatives. You know, think back to the week before when we had all that positive news on the US dollar. What happened? It tanked. Well, it didn't go anywhere, did it? It just it was, you know, positive news, tiny bit of negative news. So it's the other way around, isn't it? That was it. Positive news, tiny bit of negative news. Yeah, you know, we should have had movement on that. They were really good news events, really positive US, and the market just did not react, didn't bat an eyelid, not interested. They're worried about the interest rates being at the top and starting to stagnate. And as soon as the interest rates stagnate there and these guys keep pumping, the US dollar is going to become less attractive. It's made itself massively attractive for ages. And, you know, inflation is starting to come down. So it is possibly teetering on the rollover into a sell, but not quite yet. And the indices are obviously backing that up as well. When you look at all the indices, yeah, we got good strong movement on the indices, which is negative US dollar. But then again, you know, this is the whole confusion at the moment, isn't it? When you scroll out and look at where we've got to go in the bear market, that should indicate US dollar strength, but it's not. It's just totally confusing from a fundamental basis at the moment. You know, the market is just confused. We're in a situation we've never been in before, aren't we? You know, this is fallout from COVID. We're just not. We're not used to being in this kind of tentative recession that could collapse at any time. Dow is coming off of the Asian lows pre-market, so this is the Globex low. So Globex session low. Again, limit orders triggered there. Nasdaq's coming down, so I'm going to stop out on my longs, flip short. Again, we just keep getting whipsaw days at the moment on these indices, don't we? It's just hideous at the minute. We haven't had a good, strong breakout for. Haven't had a bull day, have we? Look, I mean, just. So, you know, whipsaw. Well, that one's there. No, it's there. Whipsaw. Today, whipsaw. We haven't had a trend day, a proper trend day. We haven't had. These are where we make the money with the opening range breakout strategy these days. That's where we clear up. And the last week, we've literally just had wicks wicks and wicks and wicks. Awful sessions. Even on news, it's just whipsawing. The news is whipsawing as well, isn't it, at the minute? Well, that's not unusual, is it? Okay, so Dow's obviously coming off the Asian lows, or the Globex lows for indices. Sitting in 3% constantly at the minute. I'm waiting for an email to come in from someone. Every time it pings, I'm getting excited. Okay. If this Dow manages to get through these lows, we've got potential for a run to the downside today. So looking at last week, this is last week's low. We got a couple of news spikes, basically. That's a news spike there. So there's this level here, potentially, which is around about 33,700. So it's a quick flush down to there, very much on the cards, if we manage to get this low broken. If there's no limits sitting there, we've got a clear run, basically. Obviously, I'm not expecting a 150 ADR move in a day, but if we can get this low broken, we'll certainly start on the way. So that would give us an indication that the Nasdaq's going to come down as well. So keep an eye on that Dow. From the Nasdaq perspective, yesterday's low is down at ADR. So we've got the Globex low, which is where we started to move up today as potential target, which is here. And then obviously low of the day would be where we would look at coming to test next. So if we do get that move out the bottom on the Dow, we could get a nice quick flush down here. So see what happens. There we go. So there's your flush out the lows on the Dow. God, we're going to get a trend today. DAX is coming down as well. So strong US dollar. Strongish. Pound US dollar should be coming down as well. Not quite as much. Okay, Nasdaq's flashing nicely. So those are the 3 levels to aim for this afternoon. This is the first. So this is the propulsion gap. So this is the start of the Globex session. That was our first move. This move is what happened on the yen news. So the US dollar had a little drop on the yen, which pumped the indices. So obviously, as you can see, every time we've come back into that propulsion gap today, we've found buyers. So this is our first attempt in the New York session at seeing whether or not there's any buyers left here or whether they're all out at the top. And if that fails, we're coming down to 115.13 and then hopefully a drop from there. But we're going to need to pull back a little bit, obviously, in between. Nice flush out the bottom there. Strength coming through on the pound. Just can't get a break at the moment. You get a nice little push on the US dollar finally, and the pound pushes at the same time. Cancels the move. Just can't win. Euro pounds coming back down to retest the lows. Obviously, that's on the pound strength. Euro Swiss is holding up at the double bottom. Getting no strength again in the euro for this session. Pound odd, ADR. Really strong move in the pound. Fed should move as quickly as possible to reach 5%, then react to data. So Bullard's pushing for a 0.5% increase. Again, you know, this is all depending on when Bullard's not in charge, but it's bullish. Right, I'm multitasking. I'm doing other things in the background while I'm waiting for something to happen. Okay, Pound New Zealand, ADR as well. Pound Odd and Pound New Zealand both at the same time. It's got a little bit more to go there. That's a good short up there. If we can get 125 on that today, that'd be good. Pound Odd's already gone out the top. Okay, so we've just blown through the Globex lows. Sorry, no, we haven't. We've just blown through that resistance support there. So Globex lows, next target. See what we get down there. Likely to be some limit orders sitting at the low of the day. Anybody that's long will want to add at the low of the day. Evil 347. Yeah, it was not long ago. I'm off doing other things. It's nice when you get a trade working because you can just let it go. Want to buy some CAD strength. I mean, this pound CAD at the moment, we've got a strong pound at the moment, and obviously this is being held down. So you can see there's decent Canadian dollar strength, which is coming off the back of the US. So anything CAD really as a short. I really must put a pair filter in here so that I can just filter for the CAD pairs. But AusCAD, EuroCAD. See, pound CAD is probably the best sell at the moment. There's not a lot on side. Sentiment's offside on it. It's not good at the minute. New Zealand CAD's a buy. There's nothing to buy. I mean, there's nothing fundamentally that's good for the CAD as a buy. Euro CAD is a buy. New Zealand CAD is a buy. Aussie CAD is a buy. CAD Swiss is a sell. There's nothing really that I would ever want to hit the buy button on the CAD at the minute. Euro CAD. Yeah. So Euro CAD buy, not sell though. So Euro CAD would be a buy rather than a sell, which means that you're selling the CAD. If you're buying Euro CAD, you're selling the CAD, aren't you? There's just nothing out there I can see that you can get into on the CAD. Nothing interesting. CAD Swiss potentially is the only thing from an RSI extension perspective. We need the Swiss franc to weaken, but that's nicely extended on the hourly and the 4 hourly. So I would say CAD Swiss is probably the best thing out there to buy at the minute if you want to buy the CAD. Everything else is extended the other way. That's it, CAD Swiss. Or sell Aussie dollar against the CAD. That's your other option, but you've missed it. That was off the ADR, so you've missed Aussie CAD. So CAD Swiss is your only option, really. If you want to buy it, buy the CAD. Just had a reverse alert and retest on that. M15 is miles away. But do you really want to buy into that Swiss franc? I mean, that's a lovely mean reversion. I just don't know how long this Swiss franc's going to be charging like this. Oh, hopefully it's going to stop soon, because otherwise I'm going to be in trouble on my euro. You're already short on Euro CAD, so hoping to get some CAD push. You're short on Euro CAD from ADR. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean you're going. Yeah, I suppose Euro CAD you can go either way, but I mean COT is long Euro, short CAD, so market is short on the Canadian dollar and long on the euro at the moment. So you're going against COT, but fundamentally there's not a lot in it. Euro CAD is a long from a sentiment perspective. So you want to be longing. I'd be longing it. But since last year, right? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Then I don't know. Yeah. In that case, I hope. Yeah. You had to exit on some there, but that was tricky. That was New Year, wasn't it? Difficult stuff. New Year. So Nasdaq is pushing back at the minute. Dow is also pushing back. So we're sitting kind of in no man's land at the moment, just down by these Globex lows. So we've got some orders triggering down here. So let's see if we can come back and retest this level. This is a long, fast propulsion move. So there's every potential to come back and retrace quite a lot of this before it makes a new leg down, if it's going to. The way things are going at the moment, this has just got rotation day written all over it. We don't seem to be able to get any sustained direction on anything, do we, at the minute? There's no reason for the Dow to be stopping here. So still looks good for a short to me. It's just a pullback. Trying some aggressive drawdown, but no luck. Yeah, I mean, this is where I mean, It's very difficult to pick any way you would have got in aggressive on this because it's such a nasty, messy, move. It literally, there was no selling at all. The whole of December. Oh, excuse me. We got accumulation in there and a pushback. This is where you want to get in aggressive, where you are now. So that is the place to do it, definitely. If this double, it's basically a triple top. So it's either going to have a fourth knock on the door and get through, or it's not, and it's going to come back probably in some, tests the 72 and retest this level down here. Pound odd and Euro Swiss. We've got RSI extensions on the hourly. Pound odd and Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss we know about, massively extended. Pound odd. So that's just coming up into a double top. So there's a limit order trigger again at the double top. That's a good looking short. ADR. Pound odd. I'm not quite sure why we're getting all this strength in the pound. There's no reason for it. There's nothing news-wise that's come out that's going to cause this. So we're just retesting again. We're range bound. We've been range bound on this all year. So we're just testing range highs at the minute. Yeah, it looks good. I think that's a good place to sell from. This should populate again in the next couple of minutes, hopefully. 58 minutes ago, so 2 minutes, that should stick a new line in there. And then we get the updated sentiment. So again, 18 all the way up to 27, back to 22, 31, down to 22. So if there's any other big movers, this is kind of why I want to get this plotted so you can easily see what's going on intraday. 39 to 50. That's a fairly big Mercy yen. No movement on that US dollar Swiss. So the whole market is hugely long on US dollar Swiss at the moment. Everybody's long US dollar Swiss. And they've just added more positions and stuck their stop losses there. Unlikely we're going to get down there though today. I certainly hope not, because I want this NASDAQ to completely collapse out of bed. Pay me some money. Need it at the moment. This is the other trouble with evaluations on prop. You can't get into more positions. You know, if I see this trade of the century right now, I can't take it. Because if the trade of the century goes half an ADR on ADR against me, you're running the risk of blowing the account all the time. It's such a restrictive way to trade. I really think prop is, you've either got to be super fast scalping on very low time frames, which is how I've passed all my props, is M5 scalping, or you've got to be swinging 4-hour and dailies and looking for a long-term pass. But you've got to crack that within 30 to 40 days, haven't you? Which is tricky, which is, you know, I really think if they increased the intraday drawdown, if they scrapped the intraday drawdown, you know, so you have this 5% daily and 10 to 12% overall target, if they scrap that and moved literally over to that business model, I could position trade that, no problem, without fail. I can keep myself within 10 to 12% in a month. But 5% intraday is just so difficult. There you go. So new line gone in. So that's basically logging. So I'm going to plot all this out at some point. That CAD Swiss, not changed all day. %10 move on the Swiss yen. So a lot of movement on the yen, or a load of people getting stopped out on the yens. Not a lot on the pound odd. That's annoying. Doesn't fit. Doesn't quite fit. It's going to reduce the columns down so it all fits on one page. Oh, it's locked up. Come on, wake up, Google. Yeah, whatever. I've got too many. I've got 3 MT4s running optimization tests at the moment, so I ain't got any RAM. Grinded to a halt. Dow's just collapsed out of bed. NASDAQ straight to the lows. Okay, so we've triggered there. So really strong US dollar. This is good. Good for the US. Finally, a little bit of strength coming through. Pound is starting to wane as well against the US. Euro coming down very nicely. Aussie also coming down very nicely. So really good US dollar strength finally. I'm just interested in the euro. Don't care about the US dollar. It's always the way, isn't it? The one that you're not on. I've just put the, oh my God. That screwed up the EA. I just put the wrong pair on that. Never mind. Right, so this NASDAQ is rejecting down here. I think I might bank. So this is the 1.5 hour low just gone in. So we're an hour and a half into the session now. So potentially, I'd say with, it's normally 80%, but I would say probably with a 95% accuracy today, that's your higher day. Very unlikely that we are going to do that, and this is going to be your low of the day. So we are still coming out of bed down here, falling out of bed. This Globex low, they've just met a load of limit orders. If they run these limits, we're probably going to pop out the lows and come down and retest. So I'm going to hold on to the position and just want to see if we get this pop out the bottom here. So what I'm looking for is everybody that's longed it here, they will be puking their orders underneath this low. So as we push down into this low, we should see a load of stops trigger, which will pop the candle down. We've only got that far to go before we're hitting pretty much ADR and yesterday's low. So there's not actually a lot of distance to go before we're going to start meeting some potential resistance support. So I would look for no more than about another 42-point drop today. Fed semester policy rates should rise a little above 5% to 5.25 range projection from policymakers at the end of 2023. Yeah, that's what they've been calling. We've been calling 5 to 5. Well, we've been calling 5.25 was what they had initially called. Then they reduced it down to 5, and then they were like maybe 5.25. So this is the range we've always been talking about. Which is which is exactly what the Fed said. 3 more rate hikes, 2 to 3 more rate hikes before we reach terminal rate. So we're either going to go a 0.5 and then a 0.25, or we're going to go 0.25 times 3. February will be the key. So if we get that in February, I reckon we're going to go 2.5 March and April. If we get that in February, we're going to get 2.5 in March, and that'll be it. And then that will remain stable at that level for the whole of 2024. And then it's all down to really the rest of the guys and what they can do as to whether they can push. But the US, I think, will start to weaken a little bit more then. We're just coming off these lows. This might be the start of a pullback. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two off. I don't want those buy stops on. So I'm just going to close those shorts out here. If we get a push back up into that area and come and retest, then I would be happy to take another short based on this move down today. Otherwise, I get the feeling we might be starting a pullback here. So better to just sit it in the bank, which just reduces this today. I just need some movement on this euro. So pound US dollar, I'm just about to get one into profit. Not far away. So I'm just waiting on these euro trades at the moment. to try and get some momentum, but they're just stuck at the minute, the euro. I think we're going to have to wait until tomorrow, until Lagarde speaks at 10:30 tomorrow. We're probably going to get some movement then. Other than that, it's just stagnation from the euro at the minute. So I think I'll call it a day there. So just all I've managed to do today is scale out of a few. Nasdaq broke even on today. No, actually didn't. I made money on the Nasdaq, so I made $100 off on the Nas. So 230 odd loss and 290 ish. So a little bit of profit on the Nasdaq. But yeah, just waiting on these really. I'm not going to take any more positions because I've got too much on these at the minute. So I am trading Euro Swiss. There's loads of other opportunities out there though that you can get into if you're not restricted by silly prop conditions. Obviously, jump in on as much as you like. There's tons and tons of ADRs, tons of RSI extensions, which all look amazing and ready to go. And are going and have gone today. You know, there's been loads of trades today that you could have made some decent money on. But try and focus on the sentiment intraday, and obviously keep in mind bias. Right, I will call it a day there. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50 stroke 8 o'clock because I have a class on Thursday mornings, early morning. So I'm usually struggling and a little bit late. But I will. I'll be on tomorrow morning somewhere between 7:50 and 8, ready for the DAX. And we'll have a look at what's happened. There's no news to worry about overnight. We've got unemployment from the Australian dollar. Doesn't tend to do an awful lot with the Aussie. Their unemployment figures are pretty decent anyway. If you look at the Aussies compared to a lot of other places. Actually, they're not too good at the moment, are they? Actually, looking at it, 3.4. No change. Yeah, they're not actually that good at the moment, are they? Don't tend to get a lot of movement off of it, though. So there's only that to look at. I haven't got any Aussie dollar exposure on at the moment. EA is still set up. Pound New Zealand, I'm going to get in short. Aussie New Zealand, I'm waiting to get into a short. Euro Swiss, I'm in. Euro Pound, I'm in. New Zealand CAD, I'm waiting to get in long. US dollar CAD, I'm waiting to get in long. Pound US dollar, I'm already in short. Aussie Yen, I was thinking about and I'm not doing. I took that manually, so get rid of that. So the EA is all set up, ready to go, ready to get me in. But they're all going without me, unfortunately, at the moment. So just have to wait for them to pull back. Right, so have a good one. Anything you need, come into the Telegram group. I will be in there if you need anything. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you in the morning. Have a profitable afternoon and see you tomorrow.